Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is great to be with you on tonight, February 23rd, 2024. It is so great to be with you guys. You know how we do this. We start every Saturday with a new master topic, which will be tomorrow, and we roll all the way through the week, and we finish up on a Friday. Even when I'm on vacation, I still produce this great content for you guys. My hat, hopefully you guys had a chance to take a look at that. It's just believe, and then me, achieve, and then .com. Definitely go to that site or scan the QR code. It'll get you there as well. And like all my content. That would be really great. Also, be sure to follow me on TikTok so we can grow to even higher numbers. So our master topic, ladies and gentlemen, for the week. But before we get to that, thank you for being here, whether you're here at 8:52 at night, 8:52 in the morning, 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 12 noon, 12 a.m. Makes no difference. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you being here and making the choice to apply the nuggets I share with you every day to improve the quality of your life and those you care so much about. So our master topic for the week is what is karma, which we're ending today, series 3, which means we're in the third year. We're on show number 8. Wow. And our master topic for tonight, I'll call it the granular master topic, is understanding karma in a nutshell. Series 3, third year, show 8, episode 7. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we think about karma, I know I've been talking about karma all week long, and it's been like a lot of details. I get it. So what I wanted to do tonight is kind of flush out what karma is. If you're kind of lost about what karma is or what karma isn't, I want to just share with you what karma really is. And so karma is pretty cool. All right. It's not a candy. It's not something that's some voodoo. It's not some magic. It's energy. All right. And so there are 3 basic parts of karma I'm going to talk about. One is the causal law. And I've been talking about this all week, but I want to just kind of summarize it with you. And that is the causal law means that what you broadcast, you will basically receive back. So if you broadcast stuff out there, and I don't just mean broadcast, I'm talking about, what you do, your actions in the world. So if you do great things for someone, right, and those things actually make that person feel great, then you know what? You are going to have, just fixing my hat there, have a great experience and it will boomerang back to you. So you might be asking, hey, John, what the heck? What is a boomerang? Well, a boomerang is, they call it a tool. It could be made usually it's made out of wood. And it's typically constructed with this, they call it aerofoil sections and designed to spin about an axis perpendicular to the direction of its flight. So when you send it out, it spins perpendicularly right back to you. So if you're putting out good in the world, those are things that make people feel good. That, if you're putting out gratitude, or you're putting out thanks, or you're putting out appreciation, or you're just putting out kindness to the world. I don't care whether you're giving to charity, maybe it's blessing bags, maybe it's just smiling at people. Okay, smiling is very powerful. Or maybe it's helping people, whatever it is. When you do that, it comes back to you. Now, not today, not tomorrow, not this month, but it does come back to you. That's what I want to share with you. And if you're doing it for the reason that you want to get something back, don't do it. Do it because you want to make the world a better place. That is number one. So the law of causal basically states that whatever you sow, you're going to reap. If you sow negativity, you're going to reap negativity. If you sow positivity, you're going to reap positivity. I mean, that's not a very hard thing to understand, is it? But I guess people feel that if they do something a certain way, that they can just, I don't know, they just have like this entitlement. And what entitlement means, and I want to just go into this for a second because I think it's really important. I've been noticing a lot. If I asked you what is entitlement, and we're going to go to my friends over at Merriam-Webster. Entitlement, according to Merriam-Webster, means it's a noun. It's the state or condition of being entitled, right? A right to benefits specified especially by law or contract, a belief that one is deserving of or entitled to certain privileges, a government program providing benefits to members to a specified group. So when we talk about entitlement, we're not talking about in the sense that you've earned an award or you've earned a recognition. We're talking about people that make themselves feel they're entitled, but they don't deserve the entitlement. And it's strictly, they do this because they believe they're more important. I've told you this before. I'm not important, you are. And so when somebody comes in my path, and recently I'm going to share one with you here. So there's a group of people I'm working with for another few weeks for a charity event. And there's some people in this group that just feel so entitled. Like, when you make a mistake, okay, they come right down on you. When they make a mistake, well, of course, it's no big deal. But they feel entitled. I don't know why. So when somebody acts with entitlement, I want to tell you something. They're far from entitled. When you are entitled because of an award or because of a certain premise, then you're entitled. Entitlement happens because of something you earn or receive an award for. If you're making yourself entitled because, hey, I did this or I made $1 million, I don't care. You're not entitled. Okay. What I do to myself doesn't make me entitled. What other people bestow back to me makes me entitled if they choose to do that. So entitlement is something you've got to realize that you should be humble first. If you're looking to become entitled, then you're smoking you're up the wrong chimney. You've got to realize, be humble. And if somebody bestows entitlement on you, great, accept it humbly, but don't shove it in people's faces. That's the most important thing. So causal law means that if you do something good to people, it will come back to you. If you do something negative to people, it will also come back to you. That's pretty cool. So karma is the ethical dimension. I know that sounds like a big mouthful, but it's the truth. Karma is an ethical dimension, and there are lots of parts to our world, right? There's health, there's emotions, there's our physical bodies, there's our soul, spirit, depending on whether you believe that or not. And so when we understand that and we know that karma, because everything in our world is energy, and we know that we can affect other things in our world because everything is energy. We're vibrating at thousands of times per second. And so when we start to realize that everything's energy, we can affect everything. All right. The last point I want to share with you tonight about karma, I'm keeping it really simple, is do because you want to, not because you have to. John, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm going to tell you really simply. If you do because you want to, not because you have to, first of all, you're going to be a lot happier. Second of all, you're not going to be expecting anything in return, right? Don't go help someone because you're looking for a pat on the back. Just don't do it. If you're giving and you feel like people are taking advantage of you, well, then that's time for you to say enough. Like this group that I'm being with, they're becoming a little bit hypocritical. And so I really have to think, do I want to volunteer with them next year? I don't know. But there's just been a couple people, not a lot, but just a couple people that have just gotten a little too up for me. And I don't know about you, but when I volunteer my time, I don't really want to be ordered to do anything. Okay. I will tell you that there's a difference between asking somebody to do something and ordering somebody. And it happens with that entitlement stuff I was talking about. So help others because you want to help them, not because you're looking for a cookie or you're looking for a reward. Okay. Don't do it for that reason. Be positive in this world, not because you have to, but because you want to. Be kind in this world because you want to. When we're kind, we know that we get that natural benefit. We get that dopamine, right? The dopamine level and the serotonin levels in our brain change. And it gives us a natural safe high in our brain, right? And so these are great things, great direct benefits we get from actually helping others, right? When we truly help others and it comes from our heart, we raise that level of dopamine, right? Like if you have a chocolate bar and we have that chocolate bar and you're like, it's really good. And you feel really good because you had the chocolate bar. And, you know, that's what happens. So this is what gets people to want to do things. So they're doing it because of a feeling. Is that wrong? No, it's great. It's a great motivation. I'm saying don't do something because someone else told you to do it. Don't do something because somebody guilts you, makes you feel bad, or somebody tells you that if you don't do this, oh my gosh, this isn't going to happen, or whatever. Don't become that, because when you let yourself become that, it becomes this major, major domino effect. I'll give you a perfect example. So I was going away this week. I go away every year for my birthday, which is February 21st, for those of you who don't know. And they were all like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna be away?" I'm like, "Yeah, like I go away every year." "Oh my gosh, Jen, you can't go." I'm like, "I'm going away. Like, if you don't like it, like, too bad." And it's like they just get too up on themselves. So I want to share with you tonight what karma is. First of all, karma is not magic. Okay, it's not a magic bullet. Karma is energy. Karma is energy. And in a nutshell, karma is a causal law. Whatever we put out, we get back. Now you might say, John, I did all this great stuff, but I didn't get anything back. I understand you didn't get anything back today, but you're going to get something back. And it might not be today. Okay. It might not be today. Enjoy the feeling of what you got from giving. That should be great. And if you give because you get the feeling, well, there's nothing wrong with giving because you get that good feeling. That's not directly related to somebody else that could be manipulating you. That's the problem. A lot of people use their manipulation, their words, their actions, their threats, their blackmail to say, hey, if you don't do this, then or else, or you're not going to be the lead, or you're not going to be this, or you can't have this, or you can't be this. So, like, why is it always about that? And I've only noticed this in the last, I don't know, last 10 or 12 years, that the last couple of generations have been getting very territorial, very about, it's me first, it's you second. Where I think it should be about me, yes, but I think it should be about us. It should be about the world. It should be about helping others. I'm not saying don't put yourself first. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can give to others, but don't let others take your coffee cup or your beverage cup. Don't let them empty your beverage cup, because if they empty your beverage cup, you're going to be coming to the table. You're going to be coming to whatever you're doing with like, right, that attitude. And you've had it before, right? I'm sure you know this. Somebody asks you to do something and you really don't want to do it. But then suddenly it's like, they throw something in your face and you feel like you have to. No, you don't. You see, a good friend, a good person won't throw it in your face. If I ask you to do something like, hey, I'll ask you. Now, one thing is if I'm doing things for you and you're not doing things for me, well, then that's a different story. But if you can't make something for me and there's a problem, I get it. But I'm not here to shame and say, oh, gee, you didn't do this for me. But like, you have to be understanding and you have to realize that it is a two-way street, right? If we put crops in, okay, and we don't water them, okay, or we don't get sunshine or we don't fertilize them, what's going to happen? We're going to have nil to harvest when it comes time, right? Same thing happens with us. If we don't sow a good attitude now, you know what happens? Well, we will not have something that we can rejoice on later. All right. So we talked about karma. We talked about universal cause. What you put out comes back to you like a boomerang. Think of karma as the ethical dimensional scoreboard. It keeps score of how you are behaving with others, how you're treating others, right? If you do something and something happens and it's unintentional, that's not going to hurt your karma. But if you did something that was intentional, well, that's a karma thing. Okay. Now, the last piece I want to share with you is this, and this is very vital, and it is do because you want to, not because you have to. Do because you want to, not because you have to. I want to leave you with one last thing before I go tonight, and that is if you think about the last time that you did something for somebody. I don't care who it is. Maybe it's a relative, it could be a friend. Think about how you felt. Did you feel really good about helping them? Now, let me ask you this: would you do it again? Chances are you probably would. But the first thing you're probably going to say to yourself is, gee, has that person helped me? And I get that you want to do that because we don't want to be taken over like a fool. I'll give you a per example. I was in a charity event, actually, one of my charity organizations that I don't run, but I was just a member of. And the one person in there said to me, "Oh, well, John will do that. I'm volunteering him. He has those skills." And I very politely said, "Yeah, we'll be happy to take a look at that. We'll have our meeting first that we've been waiting to have for about a year, and once we have the meeting, then we can talk about those things." Well, guess what happened? They were too busy to have that meeting with me for 10 or 15 minutes, so I never bothered to help them out with what they needed. And see, I think people try to guilt you. Don't let people guilt you because that's just going to bite them in the end. You might think that if you don't give into a guilt that you're going to be the one that's right. Don't worry about the guilt. Okay? Just chuck the guilt off like you do water in a shower, okay? Those are not good people. Those are toxic people. And when they keep doing that to me, like, hey, I know you threw me under the bus last time I asked you to volunteer, but hey, if you guys want me to volunteer for something, do me a favor. Would you check with me offline first before you mention me in front of the room? Because I hate to let you guys down, but I'll be honest with you, I just didn't think that was a fair offer. That's it. That's all you got to do. That karma will go so far. That's the most important thing. Remember, your karma, ladies and gentlemen, your energy radiates out of your body several feet. So if you're radiating great energy, people want to be around you. That's the number one thing. All right. So, rule of thumb here with karma is very important. It is very real. Understanding karma, like karma in a nutshell, right? Universal law, whatever you put out comes back to you. It's the ethical dimension that's like the ethical scoreboard. And do something because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. All right. Do check out all my other great content, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you following me and staying with me on our journey of understanding karma this week. We have another great master topic, of course, coming up tomorrow on February 24th. Thank you so much for being here. Be sure to check out all my great content at believemeachieve.com. And I'll see you guys on another either IFYL or another one of my shows real soon. All right. Be well, everyone, and take care.